So we have to refresh this oiler here. Same style as the 272. Same look here, as far as I can tell. Let's see, this is where, that's a 9/16 socket. Let's see if that pops that out. Yep. Gotta clean this up, lube this up. We need the O-ring and the seal and an X-ring on here, I think. I wasn't going to do this, but I think I need to take this apart. Looks like there's a screw here. Looks like this is a screw here. This looks like the adjustment screw here. So what do I remove first? Who knows, right? Looks like this screw comes out. So hopefully there's nothing in here that goes boing. There's a little O-ring on that. That may actually be the adjuster. How do I get that out? Just kind of give it a push and make sure it's clean, and it should come out. And I'll bet this screw is also the limiter for this other piece not popping out, so let's undo that. Well, resort to heat. Great. Let me heat this up a little bit and see if I get this screw loose. Now there's a spring in here. I do not want to take the temper out of it. There it goes. Boing! There. I called it earlier. Well, with that out, it certainly makes it easier to clean inside here. Ah, there's a couple of washers in here. So it looks like those washers. It's really, the design isn't any different than I've seen. And this is all gummed, so now you can clean this good. Okay. Spring. This is now clean, or at least cleaner than it was. Two washers. Throw some grease in here just a heck of it. Grease it up. Here we go. Alright, so it looks like this piece goes back in here. Hopefully nice and gentle. And then you have to push it in far enough so that the retainer bolt here grabs it. Obviously that didn't do it. Hold it, push it in, hold it, get the retaining bolt in. There we go. this piece here looks like the adjuster. And then this piece, just sure these are fairly clean. Put some grease on here anyway. It looks like this screws in. The O-ring sort of holds it, but once it goes in a certain amount, it really becomes the oiling adjustment. So that's as far as it goes. 2, 3, 4. So plus minus that way. That's tight. This should be able to freely move, which it does. So that's good. Now we need the O-ring for here, the X-ring for here, and the seal. So the trick to putting this in, because you're putting this in kind of backwards actually, is it's got to go in even. There we go. It feels like it's going in, so that's good. You got the spring, it's there, not popped out. Your seal is in flush. Here's the new O-ring. Very nice. Now, before we put that down, we also need the oiler hose, which seems to be in fine shape, but needs to be cleaned. Let's do that. So let's put the oiler hose in the saw first. A lot of goops and things that need to go all at the same time here. Now, if you have a brand new oiler hose, you're probably not going to need to do this. But if you don't, a little bit of 1184 on here probably would work wonders. Very carefully down through the center here. Drop it on in. Make sure that goes all the way down in. You just seat it nice and gentle. And put a little bit of goop here. Just on the sealing surface. This will help. Good. Same thing for our X-ring. Opening. The rubber X-ring, this tiny little piece of rubber. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of grease right around this ring here. Just want to make sure the O-ring is nicely greased. A little bit of grease on the seal never hurts either. Last, a little bit of Loctite. Blue Loctite in the holes. There we go. Now we are officially lubed and greased and gooped and everything here. Coke can trick, very important. Now this has to go over that lip. Nope. And then this whole thing can sit straight down. One, two, three. Good. Gentle, bring the Coke can out. You have your seal properly installed. You have your oiler properly installed. Let's go to the next seal, this side. Now, on these seals, you know, if you want to use a little bit of anaerobic sealer, that's up to you. These are very nice, shiny surfaces, so I'm not worried about leaks. But you can definitely put a little bit of anaerobic sealer on the outside here, if you want to. I'm not going to for this exercise, but for this side, what you do need is your depth gauge. It's important. Okay, so overall we have depth to the bearing is 9.36. Overall thickness is 5. So this has to be basically 4.3 is the depth that you want, maybe 4.2 if you don't want to push it all the way. 4.2 is going to be our depth, our maximal depth. A little grease on the inside of the seal here if you like. Coke can goes over. Spin it on down, nice and easy. Get your deep socket. 17 millimeter looks like it works fine. Start tapping her on in. Make sure it's even. About 3.5 millimeters. So it's close. Let's take the Coke can out and see where we're at. So not quite down. The spring is over the lip, but the other part is not. So you can always see these a little more. This looks nice and even now. You can measure 4 points around, 3.81. You can keep fiddling with it until it's exactly right where you want it. There's 4. 3.92. 4.08. Just a shade more. 4.11, 3.91, 3.77, 4.09. So, most importantly, this top lip on the seal is over the metal lip on the crank. So that's it. Let's call it right there. So now you have both seals installed. Very smooth. So here's the 181 with the fuel line that I MacGyvered. Now I actually think that this was fine, but I have an OEM fuel line here. 501-4265 is the number on the line. But I was trying to figure out which end goes where. And I think the chubby end actually goes in the tank, which also means that you have to pull this up and through. And this hole has got to be 7.2 millimeters, according to the manuals. So I'm going to pull my MacGyvered line through here. Okay, so now we have to get that up and through. How are we going to do that? Up and through. There it goes. Okay. So that worked okay with the hemostat. Let's grab a fuel filter. The grease on here. Fuel filter goes in. Now, grease here. And now we're going to pull this up and through, hopefully. So this is 8.3 millimeters. This is 7. This was like 7.2 or 7. This is supposedly 7.2. Yeah, about that. All it means is I need to open up this hole more. It's the only thing I can come up with. Doesn't need to be opened up tons, probably 0.5 millimeter and you'll have it, but 7.5 millimeters. 7.89 millimeters. So I got the hole open to 7.89 millimeters. Grease again. Kind of liking my other fuel line now, by the way. Still not doing it. Don't have much choice. Got to go to the next size up. Could ruin a fuel tank. Sorry. There. Pop. Woo! Okay, so trying everything. The only way it actually came through is with this bit, which is a 21/64 bit. Gotta ream it out to 21/64. Don't have any choice. If anyone can get the fuel line in smaller, they're welcome too. Again, 501-4265. That's the number. Okay, so we can put this back there. And this all works fine. So right now our one, and all these rubber mounts are fine. So our 181, 288, whatever this is, gas tank is ready to rock. Good. Let's see if we can fit the tank in here. Now I noticed that there's a can't just slap it down like that. There's a rubber grommet here. I guess this is supposed to go up and through. That's not exactly easy. guess it works. Okay. Gotta have that go through there. But there's really supposed to be a bellows in here. I don't think I have one. But there's supposed to be another grommet type bellows that actually keeps the dust out from there. And I don't know what that hole is. Because I'm not going to mill the case, I'm just going to put the gas tank and handle on here, get that going. The AV mounts need to fit in. It's this one down here. Okay. Make sure they all slide in. Tanks in. Now we can attach all the screws for the AV mounts. I think they're all fairly short screws. So one here at the front, and then start filling them in. One here. Back here, so that's 3 on this side.
Short one here. One here and one front.
Just to measure these, looks like what, 12 millimeter? 12 millimeter. They're all 12 millimeter long. Starting to look like a saw again. Cool. I suppose we might as well assemble this side here. Tend to keep all this stuff together. So this, there is a washer in there. Looks like this goes on like that. Oh, there is a grease hole there. Nifty. This is actually a grease hole. It's filled with junk. Okay. Grease that if you want. Or grease here. Looks like there's a plastic piece and the rim drive. Goes down and binds right there with the oiler. This clutch here is a little worn, but may end up replacing that in the future. Clutch does not need to be on much more than hand tight because this will tend to tighten as it goes. Yeah. These don't much matter. Used or not, doesn't matter. You can put a fresh one on if you feel like it. Looks like that goes there. So now that's pretty well reassembled. Now we have to turn our attention to the cylinder head. That's pretty much next.